Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, sorcerers. So, we're going to do just a quick video because on the way home from the office, working, I was struck with some crazy news about this game that we love, Sorcery. So, if you hadn't seen, we're, and hopefully you can watch my screen as I'm doing this. I'm a little new to YouTube streaming, so this is all just a nice exploration of what the heck is happening here. If you're not aware, Sorcery just revealed that they will be releasing a Frost Mage versus Lavamancer dual deck, complete constructed decks with 60, 30, 10 on the so the full 101 cards, including two brand new avatars, hand painted by Melissa Benson. Um, and there were a lot of things that happened in the video that Melissa Benson talked about, which were very interesting in the official release moment, um, that I would want to go over with you all. And honestly, I figured what better time than to blindly stumble into live streaming than this? Because, well, there's a couple things. One, let's talk about what it means for the new set. I made this quick and dirty thumbnail because YouTube live streaming required that I make a thumbnail. So I don't want to lead off saying I have information hidden. Why in the world would some guy in North Carolina who just started playing sorcery have hidden information? So I am gleaning things like you are from the new news, but I think there's some real bombs dropped in the video that Melissa Benson did, the interview that I watched on the way home from the office. Two, I think there's another really speculative thing that I saw in the video, and it was like so peculiar to me, and I was like, I have to check that out. So I'm curious. Will YouTube allow me to watch video or show you my screen? I'm unsure. Let's see. Bip. Let me search it up. Will. And if you could answer in the comments, and you know my screen. That doesn't really help me. Oh, using OBS. Fascinating. Okay. So maybe we can try that real quick. Yay. I get to see my Baldur's Gate 3 and my MTG Arena, which I'm probably going to take off soon. It is what it is, huh? So until then, what I wanted to do was kind of go over the Melissa Benson video, and if I don't get a chance to, that's fine. I see one person viewing. Thanks for stopping by. If you're in here still, so one of the things that Melissa Benson talked about was that in deciding the artwork for the Frost Mage versus Lavamancer, that Eric was very specific about wanting a Egyptian theme. To me, that got dropped several times in the video, how she needed to add sort of Egyptian sort of artifacts or things that were within the dual deck to signify that these people had sort of a more Egyptian feel to them, despite one of them being Frost Mage. I imagine it still gets cold somewhere in Egypt, or maybe in this fictional version of Egypt. We're just borrowing. And there have been hints in other sites, right? Or in other sets. According to Eric's Curiosa, let's see if I can find one real quick. There have been things that have been hints, quote unquote, of what the next set will be. And so one of those, I believe, is none other, if we're going to go with this whole Egyptian thing, one of those is Sphinx Sarcophagus. Is the next set perhaps Egyptian themed? These are things that people have talked about pirates. People have talked about interstellar romance and sort of like John Carter from Mars sort of things. But is the Egyptian theme that Melissa Benson talked about something that is going to be prevalent in the next set? And if so, are we going to see some of the new cards perhaps from that next set? So let me go ahead and start streaming. Open settings. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to do OBS in the background here at the same time. This may be something I have to like check out later. Let's see. Stream connect account. Use stream key. Okay. Sorry. So if you have any thoughts, comments on whether or not the next set will be Egyptian, based on Melissa Benson saying that Eric wanted her to put Egyptian artifacts and Egyptian symbology and things into her new paintings for this new dual deck, leave them in the comments below. We're just kind of hashing this out. This is brand new news, dropped an hour ago. We're going to have brand new dual decks coming out. And yeah, it's going to be fantastic. So let's see how to enter key. Okay. So anyways, any thoughts on that from this single viewer? We had 2 viewers for a minute. Anyways, it's very exciting. Another thing that I saw in the video, which was funny and peculiar, was good old famous Magic player. One of my favorite Magic players ever was Reed Duke. If you know that name, it's because you are a Magic player as well. He's won some Pro Tours, or maybe one Pro Tour. I don't know if he's a very famous Magic player. Anyway, super nice guy, wonderful guy. But when Melissa Benson was in the video talking about, she got this great reception at Gen Con about her Hider Sprites painting. She mentioned that one of the fans really just like embraced it and was so struck by it. And as that was being said in the video, the Sorcery main team put an image of Reed Duke interviewing or talking with Melissa Benson at her artist's seat. And I couldn't tell if it was Gen Con or not. But if that's a crossover that's going to happen, I am psyched, because you could get no better sort of player from Magic to jump into the Sorcery world than Reed, who is just genuinely nice from everything I've ever heard about him, or the people I've met who've talked to him. And yeah, I would love it if Reed Duke would take place and just engage with Sorcery somewhat. That would be fantastic. So anywho, I think that I need to do some work on the back end to see like if I can go ahead and get some OBS going to maybe go live and we could watch the video reveal of Lavamancer versus Frost Mage together. So until that point, I just wanted to share some news that I heard that was like kind of blew me off the road almost. That Sorcery's getting some brand new dual decks, and they're full constructed sized decks. And so I'm super excited about that. Lavamancer versus Frost Mage on November 14th. Mark your calendar. They even have a logo for it. It says 2 new forces awaken. Since the beginning, avatars have stood the heart of Sorcery's identity. More than your personalization in the contest, they shape how you experience the realm itself, influencing strategy, pacing, deck building, and stories that unfold across the grid. Frost Mage versus Lavamancer continue the tradition while pushing into new elemental territory. One channels patience, positioning, and the quiet inevitability of winter. The other embodies volatility, pressure, and the destructive fury of earth and fire. So these will be double element decks. I am willing to bet. I bet it's going to be fire and air versus, earth and fire versus water and air. Players can look forward to 2 full-size, ready-to-play constructed decks, each featuring 60-card spellbook, 30-card atlas, and a 10-card collection, tuned to provide seasoned TCG veterans with decks that are equally equipped to battle across the kitchen table as they are to contest a constructed tournament. Together, they represent a new expression of Sorcery's tactical depth and imagination-first gameplay philosophy. They will be available at the Avatar of the Realm, which is taking place on November 14th. You'll be able to play alongside Melissa Benson and Eric Olofsson. However, players participating in Friday's event will be some of the first in the world to get their hands on this. And alongside the Avatar of the Realm celebration, Frost Mage vs. Lavamancer will launch worldwide on November 14th. So everybody's going to get a chance to see that. It's going to have hand-painted artwork. They promise new mechanics and strategies from these dual decks, and they even show off one card, Frostbolt, which is air and water, as suspected, 3 mana. Shoot a 3 damage projectile. It's exceptional magic. Shoot a 3 damage projectile. On impact, all adjacent units are disabled until your next turn. So a ball that fires forth and explodes. And the art is done by Elvira Pawlikowska. Should pronounce that better. Sorry. And there's kind of a new little interesting set symbol, which I can barely make out on the screen. It says versus, I think. VS with like sort of a semicircle around it. Fascinating. So that's all the news we have for now. I hope to be able to review something about this later. I see some Egyptian seems cool. What are your thoughts about their set releases? I think it would be cool if they did 2 sets a year instead of only 1, although only 1 is still better than 10 plus like other TCGs. I think I'm on board with that train, TD Altman. Thanks for commenting. I do think there's like a tremendous lull space in sorcery world where people kind of struggle. I mean, content people struggle, but that's not the real point, right? But who cares what we struggle with? But everybody, I think fans of the game struggle with like, getting things a little stale. They want a little freshness fired in. So either if it's something like Dragon Lord, but maybe more bigger production line so everybody can get it, or something like this dual deck that introduces just 2 new avatars, but maybe a fresh set of like, who knows, maybe 10, 15 new cards and then like 40 old cards or something like that. I think that's a great boon for the game. And if Eric's Curiosa can pull it off, I am all for that. Keeping things fresh, and it would allow them to sort of maybe even adjust the meta a little bit with peppering in some very specific cards. There's a danger in that, right? It's like you don't want to go too far in releasing some special all-powerful card halfway through the year. But if you see like trends, like in the beginning of the year, we saw Necromancer Water really taking off and kind of controlling a lot of the early tournaments. They could pepper in a couple little extra tools for fire or earth or air to have something more to work with. And if nothing else, it gives us a lot of space for creativity and just designing cool new avatars. Another thing that was interesting about the release was that Melissa Benson talked about how Eric was very specific about not wanting her to draw faces. They had to go back and forth, apparently, on that. Melissa was like, I want to draw the face. I need to draw how do I express who this person is? And she figured it out. But that, to me, brings up good and bad. I think why he's doing it. Like, we want to imagine the player, you get to take the place of the avatar. So we don't want to have the face shown, maybe. But on the other hand, I was thinking about this on the drive home. I was like, as an artist, trying to draw somebody without a face, kind of tough. You're not able to express a lot of emotion, maybe, in that drawing like you might want to. And are the elementals from the alpha set the only avatars that have faces? The original pre-con elementals? Without looking, I can't be sure, but I think they are. And it makes me wonder, like, are all the artists in the future going to be like pushed a little bit internally to draw things with hoods or like cloaks because that's a way to hide a face? Are we going to just be stuck with like thousands of hooded avatars in the future? Where just like, how many different cloaks and hoods can you draw on somebody? It would be nice to have like some more aggressive avatar who's like sort of like a Roman centurion or something, who maybe they could have a helmet, but I don't know. These are just weird thoughts I have on my drive home. I hope they're not working themselves into a corner by having this no face avatar policy in effect, which is apparently the case, because with Frost Mage versus Lavamancer, if you're just joining, which is a brand new set of pre-con decks with 2 new avatars, Melissa was asked to kind of take features away from the face. She had more features originally, and Eric was like, nah, no, we're not going to do that. And so she had to try and fight and compromise to get just a little bit. Like the fire avatar in this set has a sort of like Egyptian style sort of woven beard with like a gold sort of ring around the tip of the beard there. Yeah, and Eric also described them as giants, which is interesting. He's like, they should be large, giant avatars. So she tried to use real world animals to express how big these avatars are. And there are some sorcery cards that deal with giants in particular, have effects on, like, you can kill a giant or something like that. So it makes me wonder, are we going to have more giants in the next set? That's another interesting wormhole that we can go into with just this small 5-minute video. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, clearly I'm not capable of handling OBS and trying to go live stream so that we can all watch the video together yet. I'm brand new to this live stream, but I was just so jazzed that I had to come home and like be like, all right, let's talk about it. So if you have any more thoughts in the comments, I love the idea of live stream because it's like we could have a conversation. We could just talk about all of our wildest speculations while we're waiting until November 15th, which is a long way away. Now that I look at the date, it seems so close, but it's like, that's really far. It's like 6 months. Well, I mean, I really appreciate the folks that are jumping in. It looks like we've had between 5, 6, 7, 11, kind of winding down a little bit. But if you have comments, I'll stick around and ask them or talk about them or answer questions if you want. And if not, thank you for showing up regardless. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's an exciting little news bomb that we get to talk about today. I wasn't expecting it. And yeah, really looking forward to it. So I'll wait just a couple seconds and see if folks want to jump in. And if not, that's okay too. What are your thoughts? Share them on the comments for this video if you're tuning in later after this has gone live. We have the brand new precons that we're talking about today for people who just hopped in. And yeah, big news in Sorcery World. Very cool Frost Mage versus Lavamancer news. Are you excited? Are you scared? Do you love the Egyptian theme possibility and how that might play into the next set? And if you're a former Magic player, you would have noticed Reed Duke being in the video. Oh, Egyptian versus Nordic Exalted Knight says, I think that would be amazing. Like, that would actually be super cool. And I wonder if there's some historical context for that, because I know the Nords were like early explorers of the whole globe. I wonder if I don't know off the top of my head, has there been any like weird archaeological evidence found to be like, oh yeah, there was some Norse artifact found somewhere in the deserts. That would be a super cool theme, because that would encapsulate in Magic World, which is a place I come from. There's 2 sets that I really love, Kaldheim and Amonkhet. And if I could combine both of those and they were fighting against each other, that would be fantastic. Yeah, that would blow my mind. I would love that. And imagine all the stuff they could do with sort of an Egyptian theme. For other folks that tuned in a little later, I showed this like off early, but I think I'll show it off again. Eric's Curiosa has been very specific about saying they had some hints in the most recent set that lead to what the next set is. And when this Egyptian thing came up, I immediately thought of this card right here, this Sphinx sarcophagus. Let's see if it autofocuses for you. It did before, but maybe it's not. Anyway, Sphinx sarcophagus. There we go. Here we're getting it. So that's one of the sets, or one of the cards from Gothic, I believe. It's hard for me to read the symbol in reverse backwards, but maybe this is one of the hints that Eric's Curioso was talking about as to what the next set would be. Apparently there's a few peppered in Gothic about what that will be. So, you know, that's where my mind goes. And I think I'm going to take it as a temporary little confirmation of like, Egypt is not, or just Egyptian style things is not something that has been talked about or bandied about. We've been talking about pirates. We've been talking about space romance and the John Carter type novels, maybe even Conan the Barbarian, sort of that kind of stuff. And all that stuff's cool. But like, I feel like there's such a richness that we could go to. And if Sorcery follows Magic's lead, one of the things that Magic did early was there's a fantastic set. It's literally one of my favorite sets of all time, and it came out very soon after Magic's Ice Age. Uh, was Mirage, and Mirage is all about sort of like creating a more African style just world, and it's it's one of the most fantastic flavor wise sets that's ever been created, and it's also had a ton of like really cool cards that have lingered from Mirage and Visions and all these sets that came out in that small block. So I wonder if they're going to do Mirage. I would be super down with that. Behind the Dark, which is Gothic, uh, probably Mirage was one of my favorite sets of all time of Magic, and had some of the most beautiful art, like just stunning stuff at that time. So Melissa Benson was a part of that. I'm pretty certain. I don't remember which cards she did in that time frame, other than like Shivan Dragon and stuff. But yeah. Anyway, I've been around a long time. Folks are dying down in the thing, so I'm going to head out now. Go check out that cool Melissa Benson interview that they just did on the Sorcery main page. See what you think. Tell me if I'm crazy about thinking that this is going to be a full-on Egyptian set coming up. And thank you for tuning in. I will have a regular ass video coming out on Friday morning of a box opening. So I'll see you more then. Adios, folks.